Welcome to the Destination Gettysburg podcast.
And thank you for joining us again today on the Destination Gettysburg podcast. I'm Rick Kennis. Today, I always say we have a special guest, but we really do have a special guest today. I've known this guy for a few years. I haven't seen him for a few years, but that's not because I don't like him. He's a great guy. Mike Garland is from Carlisle Events, which is really cool. When you visit Gettysburg and Adams County, you get to see a lot more than you ever thought possible. But I always encourage people to visit longer because there are so many unique things to experience with our neighbors as well. One of those neighbors, of course, being Carlisle Events. They host several events throughout the year. Mike, thanks for joining us.
Well, thank you, Rick. It is great to see you. And as he said, long-time relationship. My first comment was, I haven't seen you since before you had kids. So it's 7 years?
Well, yeah, I've got a 4-year-old and an almost 7-year-old.
Yeah, so it's been that long. It's life, it's work. I've got 2 kids myself. So, but it's great to be here. And what you just said about how you encourage the folks that visit the Gettysburg area to get out and see and do outside of the region, when the folks come to Carlisle for the car shows, pushing them towards things like Gettysburg and Apple Country and Adams County and all of that. That's one of the things we do. So to know what Central Pennsylvania has to offer and to be able to share that history with our respective attendees, we're certainly on message and on brand there to try to get people out and see what all the area can give them.
Absolutely. And anybody who's a fan of pretty much any type of car can find something of interest with Carlisle Events. Why don't you, if you don't mind, give me a little brief history of Carlisle Events in 10 seconds or less. Go.
Oh, wow. Okay. Carlisle Events, founded in 1974. 2 friends, Bill Miller, Chip Miller, no relation, shared a passion for cars.
Okay,
can I
sorry.
keep going?
You can keep going.
Okay, I'll give you the slower, more in-depth version. So Bill and Chip Miller, they were 2 automotive enthusiasts, just happened to share the same last name, but they also shared a passion for cars of a certain vintage. So in 1973, the friends were at an event in we'll just say they were in an event in Dauphin County.
Okay.
And Chip was trying to sell a 50s era Corvette. Now, this event in Dauphin County catered more towards pre-war vehicles. So Chip and his Corvette were asked to leave the event because it was not deemed of the vintage suited for that particular event. So Chip and Bill, being the car guys and car minds that they were even then, said it'd be great to have events for guys and gals that like the kind of cars we like. And so they started up their own event 1 week before that annual Dauphin County event and held the first event in 1974. They called it Post-War 74 with a focus on post-war vehicles and car parts and merchandise and collectibles. And so what we now know as Carlisle Events was born with that first event in 1974. And then heading into our fall event later on this year, we will kick off a 50-year celebration of Carlisle Events.
Wow. Pretty cool. Everything has its humble beginnings when you think about it, but that's, pretty cool. To think that, you kicked out of one place and it opens doors for another thing.
Yeah, and we now have a great relationship with that event promoter. I mean, it all comes full circle.
Sure.
What they do is very much a part of what we do, and vice versa. So to say there's any hard feelings, no, absolutely not at this point. And that Bill and Chip were able to not only launch Fall Carlisle in 1974, but then 3 years later in 77 at a spring event. Chip was always a Corvette enthusiast. In 1982, Corvettes at Carlisle was launched. That was our first what we call a specialty automotive event. And then we added car-themed events, almost annually between then and modern times. We have, as you mentioned a few minutes ago, a little bit of something for everybody from high performance, muscle, exotic, trucks, everything.
And you do auctions.
We have on our calendar 4 auction events annually. We do 2 in Carlisle, and we do 2 in Lakeland, Florida. And the Florida business kicked off maybe 2012, 2013, and it was really a growing thing for us. We outgrew the original facility that we went to in Zephyr Hills, Florida. Then we moved to Lakeland, where we still do auction events. In 2020, we had this great car show. In February, it had a Ford focused theme. It had a Chrysler Mopar focused theme. We had Corvettes. We had exotics. We had a swap meet or automotive flea market. We had the auction, and that was February 2020. And about 3 weeks later, some stuff happened in the world, or at least in the United States. And we really lost all the momentum that we had built up because we were going down there twice a year, February, November. So, of course, we lost November 2020, couldn't do February 21, didn't do November 21. And by the time we came back around in February of 22, again, all that momentum was lost. So we just do the auctions in Florida, but it's a great destination event for people that are into the collector car community because, what better time to be in Florida than November and February?
So when you have people coming to the Carlisle Fairgrounds, and I can only imagine there's a lot of different license plates from all over the country. First of all, is that the case? They come from all over?
It is absolutely the case. They come from all over the world, all across the country. And the crazy thing is we don't have true data on this, but I would say if you took the multifaceted pieces of our events, like people come as spectators, they come as participants, either showing a car or as a vendor selling. So those are really the three ways that people can be part of the event. If those three ways equal 100%, I'd say 60 to 70% of those people are coming from out of town in the truest sense. You get your fair share of locals that come to do any one of those things, but this isn't a community cruise-in. This is a destination, large-scale, national, international automotive meet.
Awesome. Yeah, I've been there for a few of them. I always like it when, I think there might actually be a picture on the website, carlisleevents.com, is that correct?
That's correct.
There might have been a picture on the website I saw not too long ago with respect to Corvettes, where it's an aerial shot and all these cars are lined up to look like the American flag.
We've done that a couple of times, both at the Corvette show and at our Ford show with Mustangs. And it's funny you bring that up because Corvettes at Carlisle 2023 will showcase the Corvette American flag. It's something we do maybe every 4 or 5 years. There's no real rhyme or reason, I don't believe, for when we do it. But it is something that's part of the schedule in 2023. And there will be photos online. People love it. You get the reds, the whites, the blues. And one of the coolest things about the Corvette show is that because its history only dates back to 1953, it is still reasonably possible 70 years later to have every generation of Corvette showcased from year one in 53, where they only made 300 1953 Corvettes, to the modern day mid-engine marvel that is the C8 Corvette. And in fact, Team Chevrolet coming to Corvettes at Carlisle, they always showcase something new, something fresh. And the E-Ray, the electronic, environmentally friendly Stingray Corvette is going to be part of that portfolio in 2023.
Awesome. So who gets to coordinate that photo? Is that you, or are you running around with a flag saying park here, park here?
It's a team of many. Because we've done it a few times, we have a pretty good formula. We map out in advance, assuming certain length of car and width of car, how many rows and how many spaces, and we make some marks on the ground. And then we encourage people to sign up in advance to register for the flag in addition to the event itself. And then we have a report time, and they start showing up and rolling in. And it's a sight to behold because we've done time lapse before of it. I don't think we're going to do that this time around, but we've done time lapse, and we try to get everybody in perfect. Get the first line in, get everybody out, get the second line in. You want to leave enough space so that the person can get out of their car, of course. And then we try to let it sit for an hour or so people can take pictures and revel in that. And then they roll out.
Cool. Awesome. Well, this year coming up, 2024, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes, 2024 is coming up next.
Thank you. No, 2024 is the 50th anniversary?
Iteration, offering, whatever.
Okay.
We always go round and round in the office about 50th edition, 50th anniversary, whatever.
Commemoration.
2024 will celebrate 50 years of Carlisle Events.
Okay.
I mentioned about how the first event was what we now know as Fall Carlisle, and that took place in 1974. So technically, officially, something of the sort. Fall Carlisle 2023 is the 50th offering of that particular event. So we will launch our 50-year celebration coming up with the fall event, which is September 27th, through October 1st, 2023. And that will kick things off. And then all throughout 2024, we'll have a little bit of something 50-year related, whether it's special slideshows in our food court area. There's going to be a timeline in one of our display buildings that highlights some of the more important moments of our company's history, pictures, moments, events, etc.
Beautiful. Just in general, I mean, are there a lot of families who come to your events to begin with?
So first of all, kids 12 and under get in free to all of our events.
Cool.
You want to be able to introduce the next generation of the automotive hobby, and we all know that the cost of everything is going through the roof, but the cost of free remains free. So kids 12 and under get in free, and when families bring their kids to the events, we offer a kids goodie bag while supplies last. The kids go to our guest services area. They get that goodie bag. There's usually a toy car in there of some sort, an activity booklet. There's a cup, I believe, souvenir cup, and some other little tchotchke type event things that are just great for kids. We also do a kids cash grab at every show. So, kids can sign up, they get picked, they can go in this, inflatable deal, and there's money floating around. So kids cash grab. We do an RC car giveaway for kids that sign up. We do kids bingo. We also have a display building, Building T in this case. And in that building, kids can vote for a car that they can help pick an award winner. So there's many things that kids can do at all of our events.
Awesome.
Now, at our truck show, which takes place August every summer, we have monster trucks, we have motorcycle stunt jump shows, we have magicians, we have face painting, we have balloons, we have cool custom vans. I mentioned the monster truck shows. There's monster truck rides. So it's a phrase that probably wasn't original to my brain, but I'm going to claim it as my own. You can literally see your toy box come to life. This is an opportunity to bring your kids to an event so that they can see in real life the toys they play with at home.
Awesome. I'm a little disappointed because I don't have a goodie bag. You didn't bring me one.
You're not a kid 12 or under.
This is awkward, but I do appreciate that. What is I'm going to put you on a spot here. Okay. Pop quiz. If you had to pick, what is the biggest event that you do? Because I know some of these fans of different types of cars can be very passionate about this one or that one. So I want to clarify, this is not your favorite. It's just, what do you think is the biggest event?
It's like trying to say which kid is your favorite kid.
Yes, exactly.
Inside, you know what that answer is.
Yes.
Just outside, you can never articulate.
Yeah, there you go. So who's your favorite kid?
I actually tell my daughters my favorite kid is some other kid on the soccer team. Keep it simple. So at Carlisle, it's kind of a two-part deal because we have the car shows, the specialty events, as I referenced for the Corvettes at Carlisle. But we also have then the automotive events in spring and fall Carlisle, which are large automotive flea market swap meet type events. So the biggest event, black and white, is spring Carlisle.
Okay.
We get nearly 100,000 people to the fairgrounds over the 5 days of the event. We get 8,100 vending spaces that get filled by thousands of vendors. There's millions of automotive parts for sale. Now, if you're going to ask me what the biggest car show is, it's our Ford show, which takes place beginning of June every year. Nearly 3,500 show cars are represented on our National Parts Depot show field. The attendance is around 60,000 for the weekend. You still have vendors. You still have cars for sale within the car corral, but it's a little bit different than that swap meet show that is Spring Carlisle. So, but the crazy thing is, for our specialty car events, we've seen almost unmatched growth over the last 5 to 7 years that our company hasn't seen really in its history. It's like every year we're breaking a new show field record for car turnout. And by show field, I mean that's where the people that are showing their cars park. It's crazy.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad to hear that, especially coming out of the what have you of 2020. It's nice to know that you do have that rising factor going on.
For people that had been cooped up, that couldn't go anywhere and do anything, we became that day trip destination for people to go. And sure, all of our numbers were down across the board. Gate, vendors, show cars, whatever. But then when 2021 came around, and then by 2022, people kept coming back. And they were telling their friends.
Yes.
And our truck show, which just this past year set another record for show truck attendance. Our truck show in 2020 was the most normal feeling event that year of any of our events. And it has just blown up since 2020. So if there's a silver lining to take out of all of that, it's that we were a place for people to go when they couldn't otherwise do anything, and they were able to get some entertainment at an affordable price point and enjoy these historic pieces of automotive craftsmanship.
So aside from the big events that you mentioned and everything you have going on, is there anything you want to plug or just get real excited about? Just go for it. You've got 5 seconds.
Okay. I did way better with those 5 seconds than I did the first 10.
That's true. That's true.
The reality is, as much as we push people into Adams County to check out what Gettysburg has to offer in its rich history, there's so much to experience in Cumberland County and the Cumberland Valley. You come to a car show at Carlisle, these are pieces of automotive history. It's like going into a museum where the works of art are living and breathing. You can see all kinds of vehicles depending on what show you come to. If you're a fan of Fords, we give you a show with 3,500 Fords. If you like GMs, there's a show with 1,000 GMs. If you like Chrysler cars, there's a 3,100 plus car show for Chrysler lovers. If you like trucks, there's a 2,900 truck show.
Okay.
If you like Corvettes, 5,000 plus Corvettes. And then if you're just looking for parts, if you like to go to like the Williams Grove Flea Market or, the shops at Shrewsbury or, somewhere where you can do some of that hunting and pecking and haggling and whatever, you come to Spring and Fall Carlisle. It's not only the car parts, it's the practical items, the merchandise, the collectibles, the man cave stuff, the she shed things. There really is something for everybody. And if I can, go off even on the she shed comment, I mentioned the things we have for kids. There's an area that's non-automotive that's geared towards, let's just say, the ladies, the women's oasis, the home away from chrome, if you will. It's this whole tent that's set up at every event. There's wine tastings and wine slushies and bingo and kitchen must-haves, and it's a shopping experience in and of itself. So we really try to step back and offer something for everyone when you come to an event. Because at the end of the day, whether you like a classic car or not, first of all, you drive a car. The automobile is part of your day-to-day. And secondly, you probably know someone that does like a classic car. So even if you don't, you're snapping a picture of that car and you're texting it to your buddy.
Sure. Well, that's awesome. And to touch upon what we said at the beginning of the episode, it's so close. I like to say it's in our backyard to Gettysburg. That's why you got to have a couple extra days here in Gettysburg when you visit, because, you got to take us all in, but then at the same time, just a short drive away, you could experience all this and more. And it's unique things that you can do that you can't do anywhere else. So it's really cool.
We are very fortunate in where we are located. And forgive me, I'm not geographically inclined in most cases.
Join a club.
Route 34 goes right beside the Carlisle Fairgrounds. So minimal turns and you're going to find us. Plus you can drive through some amazing rural countryside to check us out. It's always great to have people come and find out where they've come from or how they heard about our events. We've seen a ton of first-timers coming. We always want the locals to come out. We know that when you are local, there are so many other great things in your local area to check out, but it's worth visiting. CarlisleEvents.com is the website. Discounted spectator admission tickets are online. Discount show registration opportunities are there. Of course, kids 12 and under get in free. We do our events rain or shine, and we really try to help folks out with like advanced arrival information, a lot of digital details.
Gotcha.
Online, and we even have a menu of all of our food. We have a great concession area, and many of the food vendors are local or local-ish. We're not in bed.
Yeah, you don't just have a freezer filled with frozen food
that bring the food in. These are local folks
right.
that are selling their foods.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks, Rick.
I won't thank you for the goodie bag. Didn't get one. But I do appreciate your time today.
Well, I appreciate your time as well, and now you've guilted me into finding you a goodies bag.
All right. Hey, you take care now.
Thank you for listening to the Destination Gettysburg podcast. Produced and hosted by Rick Kennis, with thanks to our special guest. No part of this material may be reproduced without written permission. Get inspired for your visit to Adams County, Pennsylvania at destinationgettysburg.com.